Welcome to the deep dive. We try to cut through the noise and get you straight to what matters. And today, we're tackling something big, a single document that's really, well, dominated the conversation in Nepal recently.
That's right. It's that 27-point list of demands, isn't it?
Yeah.
From Durga Prasad's group, the Nepal Rastra Bachau Mahaabhiyan.
The National Salvation Grant Campaign, yeah. They presented this to the Home Minister in Kathmandu, November 12th, 2025. And let's be clear, this isn't just, a few suggestions. It's pretty comprehensive.
Oh, absolutely. It's a roadmap, really. A radical one touching on, well, everything. The Constitution, banking, student loans, you name it. What's really striking, I think, is how it links these immediate, very real economic worries, debt, savings, to these huge constitutional questions.
Right. It's basically saying the whole system is the reason for the financial mess.
Exactly. That's the core argument threading through it.
So our mission for you, the listener, is to unpack this. We're going to go beyond just reading the list. We'll try to boil these 27 points down into, say, 4 main themes, focusing on the specifics, the numbers, the structures they propose.
And the friction points. Because, let's face it, some of these demands are, well, they'd be incredibly difficult to implement. High stakes all around.
Definitely. So where do we start? The most dramatic stuff seems to be the political restructuring.
Yeah, you have to start there. Points 2, 3, 4, and 27 really aim to flip the whole post-2007 governance model on its head.
Okay, point 2, that's the big one, right? Targeting the Constitution itself.
It is. It explicitly demands abolishing the current Constitution and replacing it with 2 things. A Vedic Sanatana Dharma relative Hindu kingdom and a constitutional monarchy. It's a call to return, essentially.
Return to a specific historical setup. And they don't just want Parliament to decide this, do they?
No. Crucially, they demand it be put to a public referendum, a Janamat Sangra. So they know this needs massive public backing. They're looking for a clear mandate for such a fundamental change. It makes it more than just talk.
Okay, so monarchy back via referendum. Then there's the federal structure. Point 3, attacking the provinces.
Yes, they call the provincial structure a white elephant. Basically, too costly, not useful. The demand is to scrap it and go back to the old system. 5 development regions, 14 zones onco, and the 75 districts.
That's a huge administrative reversal. Think of all the infrastructure, the budgets.
Exactly. The argument is it drains money and causes instability. So reverting would be, in theory, a massive cost saving.
It's framed politically, but it sounds like a budget cut proposal, too.
It functions as both.
Yeah.
And then point 4 ties into this. They want a directly elected executive prime minister.
Centralized power, then. Moving away from coalition politics.
That seems to be the idea. More direct accountability, less negotiation, a stronger center.
And this ties into accountability for the past, right? Point 27.
It does. It demands the immediate arrest and investigation of, well, all high-ranking leaders from the previous government.
Wow. Okay. So it's not just change the system, but hold the old guard responsible before the new system starts.
Precisely. The message is, the old system failed, those in charge failed, and there must be consequences.
Okay, that's a seismic shift politically. But you mentioned the economy earlier. That seems to be the real driver here.
I think so. Let's move into that, our second segment. This is where you see the scale of the financial anxiety they're tapping into.
It starts with the banks, right? Point 5, nationalization.
Yes. And the number they throw out is huge. They claim 34 crore rupees, that's 34 trillion in banks, are currently at risk. Controlled, they say, by bank operators and big business houses not serving the people.
34 trillion rupees, just to give you a sense of scale. 34 crore is what? Hundreds of billions in US dollars?
Depending on the exchange rate, yeah. It's a massive figure, potentially 70–80% of Nepal's entire GDP.
And they want the government to just take over the banks, nationalize them.
Essentially, yes. Nationalize them once is the wording. To recover this risk money, stabilize things, and, crucially, separate banks from big business control.
The justification is risk management, but the implications are enormous. How would that even work?
Well, that's the multi-trillion rupee question, isn't it? Their argument is it stabilizes the system for ordinary people. Politically, it's about trust.
And this leads into the debt relief plan, points 8 and 9.
Exactly, and this is where it gets quite specific, distinguishing between different groups. Point 8 targets the really small borrowers, the Sarvahara Varga and Buimancha, the working class, the poor. For anyone with loans under 20 lakh rupees, about 2 million, from microfinance or cooperatives, they demand full debt forgiveness. Minaha.
Just wipe the slate clean for small borrowers. That's huge relief for potentially millions.
It would be. But then point 9 addresses the different group. The middle-class traders, maybe small business owners, with loans above 20 lakh.
What's the offer for them? Not forgiveness, I assume.
No, but significant restructuring, a 25-year repayment period, and a heavily subsidized interest rate of just 5%.
25 years at 5%. That's still massive relief, just structured differently.
It is. It's smart politics, really. Tailored solutions for different, very frustrated groups. The poorest and the struggling middle class.
But hang on. If the government nationalizes banks, forgives some loans, subsidizes others, who pays for all this? Where does the money actually come from?
Well, the campaign implies it comes from that 34 crore they plan to recover.
That seems optimistic. Realistically, the government would have to absorb enormous losses, right? It sounds like it needs a financial miracle.
Or massive borrowing or international aid, yes. It's a huge fiscal challenge baked into the demand. Hugely popular, hugely expensive.
And they also want to undo some of the consequences of the financial crisis, like property seizures.
Yes, points 10 and 11. Point 10 says the state must take responsibility for cooperative savers who lost money and return it. The government foots the bill. And point 11 is about land. Demanding homes and land seized by banks people made Sukumbasi landless be returned to the original owners.
Under government guarantee with new loan terms. So trying to reverse homelessness caused by debt.
Correct. It connects the debt crisis directly to housing and land security.
Okay, that covers the immediate financial rescue. Now, what about the longer-term economic picture? The brain drain issue seems central.
It really is. This is our third theme. Stopping the youth exodus and trying to build a different kind of economy at home. Points 1, 6, 12, 13, 14, 20 all touch on this.
The demand is basically stop exporting labor, start exporting other things.
Pretty much. Point 6 is very direct. Create conditions to bring back youth from the Gulf countries. Match them with skills-based jobs here.
And point 7 adds a really stark detail.
Yeah, demanding government action to bring back around 7,000 young Nepalese currently in prison in the Gulf. It highlights the human cost.
It really does.
Yeah.
So if they manage to bring people back, what's the incentive to stay? Point 13 seems key here.
It's a powerful incentive. For returnees who sent remittances back, they propose project loans up to 30 lakh rupees
Okay.
at a subsidized 3% interest rate. And here's the kicker. Without collateral.
No collateral. For a loan up to 3 million rupees, how does that work?
The argument is these individuals have already proven their reliability by sending money home. They've earned the trust, basically. It's meant to turn remitters into domestic entrepreneurs.
Again, huge questions about who underwrites the risk, but the policy goal is clear. Invest in returnees.
And prevent people leaving in the first place. That's point 14. Stop students going abroad for higher education after +2.
But how? You can't just ban it. You need alternatives.
Exactly. So the demand includes establishing over 100 new colleges, medical, engineering, nursing, CA, technical fields. The goal is to train 10,000 professionals a year domestically for the global market. Oh, and also make Sanskrit and moral education compulsory.
A massive education build-out. Alongside this, point 20 talks about shifting what Nepal exports.
Very explicitly. Stop selling our youth abroad, it says. Focus instead on exporting, well, natural resources. Himalayan water, herbs from the hills, grain from the Terai.
Supported by point 12, which calls for building up local industries for self-reliance.
Right, so the whole package here is a fundamental challenge to the remittance economy. Sell products, not people power.
Okay, let's move to the final set of demands. Accountability, welfare, regulation, sort of the governance nuts and bolts.
Yeah, this is where we see the combination of, let's say, strict enforcement and generous welfare. The stick and the carrot.
Point 21 is the big stick, right? The anti-corruption drive.
It's sweeping. Investigate assets of all leaders going back to 1990, 2046 PS. Nationalize any illegal wealth found.
And not just politicians, civil servants, too.
Yes. Investigate employee assets. Government takes over any unexplained property. It's a major crackdown.
But then comes the carrot. Point 22, the salary increase.
A huge carrot. A minimum monthly salary of 1 lakh rupees. For all civil servants, police, army, teachers?
1 lakh minimum. That would absolutely balloon the state's wage bill.
Immensely. But the justification is linked directly to corruption. The idea is, pay people enough for a secure life, remove the economic excuse for corruption. But if they still engage in corruption,
Then what?
the punishment is severe. Termination and lifelong imprisonment. High reward, catastrophic risk for misconduct.
That's a powerful deterrent, for sure. But affording that initial salary hike, that seems like a massive hurdle.
Colossal. But it's presented as necessary for professionalism.
Yes.
Then there's tax simplification, point 24.
Getting rid of VAT, value-added tax, within 5 years.
Yes. And establishing a single window system for income tax, making it simpler.
Any other tax changes proposed?
Specific caps.
Yep.
A flat 10% income tax for professionals, doctors, teachers, CAs, technicians, and cutting house rental tax down to 5%.
Those are definitely designed to appeal to the urban, middle, and professional classes.
Clearly targeted, yes. And finally, the social safety net, particularly for seniors.
Points 18 and 19.
Right. Point 18, free medical treatment for everyone 65 and older. And point 19, establish a senior citizen fund to give a monthly allowance of 10,000 rupees to needy seniors.
Plus, point 25 mentions solving the Bhumi and Sukhambasi problem, landless citizens. So, comprehensive welfare promises.
Absolutely. It rounds out the picture. Crack down on elites, debt relief for the masses, jobs for youth, high pay for officials, welfare for seniors, and the landless.
So, summing this all up, it's quite a package. What stands out to you most when you look at all 27 points together?
It's the inherent tension, maybe. On one hand, it's demanding a return to an older political system, monarchy, the old regional structure, very traditionalist in a way.
Right, looking backwards politically.
But on the other hand, the economic plan is incredibly radical, very interventionist. Nationalization, huge debt forgiveness, massive state spending on salaries and welfare, collateral-free loans.
Almost socialist in parts.
You could argue that, yeah. So it's this strange blend of looking back politically and looking radically forward economically. And connecting it all is this deep current of frustration, I think. Frustration with corruption, financial hardship, seeing young people leave.
And the level of detail is striking too. Down to a 5% rental tax. They've thought about specifics to appeal to almost everyone.
It's a very detailed, very ambitious, and frankly, very disruptive set of demands. It taps into real grievances across society.
Okay, let's leave our listeners with something to chew on. A final provocative thought. Given how incredibly detailed and, let's face it, expensive these financial demands are, the debt forgiveness, the 1 lakh salary, the collateral-free loans, which single one do you think would be the absolute hardest for any government to actually implement and sustain, even if they wanted to? What's the biggest practical impossibility on that list?
That's a tough one. They all pose massive challenges.
Something for you to think about. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the 27-point demands.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.